Bindis peria sopeli tandatanu probindeba Ari shvenisi totkhale chitivid gaguprindeba Ari shvenisi totkhale chitivid gaguprindeba
So, are you surprised or astonished or stunned about the Kartvelian roots of Africa? If not, I have something more to impress you. Polynesia. In the already mentioned list of the poor soldiers, Georgian soldiers who died in the First World War and who lived in the Tbilisi province of the Russian Empire. There was a person mentioned under a surname Matitaishvili. Actually, that's quite a widespread, popular surname in Georgia. You see here various people who bear this surname, Matitaishvili. Matitai, that would be a very tricky and rare root for such a surname. That should be some kind of a toponym, because Shvili, that means born to or born in or at. So that would be born at or in Matitai. And Matitai, I cannot find this word anywhere other than in Polynesia. You see, it's quite a popular surname in Tahiti, Samoa, and New Zealand. And you need to explain it somehow. Since you since you can afford thinking or assuming that the spread of this family of Kartvelian languages may not be limited to Europe, even Africa, Middle East, and even India, but can go further. For example, to such remote lands as islands in the Pacific Ocean, and the reason would be this word Matitai. You might want to have a closer look at the dictionary of people in Australia and New Zealand. The same list of Georgian warriors mentions someone under the surname of Kulalagashvili. The root here would be Kulalaga, and the only place this word could be found is the name of a painting made by a native Australian woman, Mary McMahon, and the name is Kulalaga Yinkiti. Look around for food, it means. So that's the only place I was able to find this word. If you have any other suggestions, please help me with that. But I see that we have all the reasons to have a close look at the languages in this part of the world. And we start with the word Maori, because once we started to think that it may have some relations to the Kartvelian family, we may see now that Maori is a maybe Megrelian trademark, Megrelian construction with the trademark Megrelian Ma prefix, which is a personificating prefix with the help of which Megrelians can make words meaning people. So Maori would be and somebody relating to what ori means. In Migrelian language, ori means shadow. So Maori would be someone relating to shadow. Quite a vague definition, quite a vague story I'm now telling you. Unless you have a look at the etymology of the word Maori in Maori language, where you will see that in legends and oral traditions, the word distinguished ordinary mortal human beings. Distinguished from who? From gods, from spirits, from dead people. And the difference between all those people and ordinary mortal human beings would be shadow, because only a living person is able to have a shadow. And Maori, from this point of view, would be exactly somebody relating to shadow, having a shadow, and the interpretation is perfectly Migrelian. Maybe at this point it may be a coincidence, no doubts about that, I understand that, but this is a big reason for us now to open the Maori dictionary and to try to make some kind of comparative analysis between the Maori language and the languages of the Kartvelian family. And what do we see there? We see that kiri means bark, while kerki means bark in Georgian. We see that hari means stone in Basque language, and we already know that Basque language should be considered the fifth language of the Kartvelian family, while horete means stone in Maori. Hari versus horete. Suddenly, the borrowed foreign words, words borrowed into the Maori language, suddenly acquire, upon borrowing, upon having been borrowed, they acquire the nominative case ending e, exactly like in Georgian language. Ice cream, as we see, turns out to be aihi kiri mi. Interesting. Why so? Matar, that would be to kill in Spanish language. Mate, that would be killed in Maori language. So we know that Spanish language is connected very firmly, very tightly with the Kartvelian family. And now we need to find this mat root in Georgian languages, Kartvelian languages, that might have some relation to killing. Matili, that's the root in question, with combined with the suffix ili, would be venom, while matuni, that would be cowbane, that still is venom, and having the same mat root, typical now for both, for all three of them, for Kartvelian family, for Spanish language, and for New Zealand language of Maori people, Aborigines people. Mutu would be to seize something in Maori language. Mute, you know, that's felt expressed without use of words. So speaking is seized in that case. Something is seized. While muta means nothing in Migrelian language. Also, everything is seized when you are talking about nothing. Pepe means butterfly, pepela means butterfly, the same root, pep, in both Maori and Georgian languages. Ra is the sun in Maori language. We know that Ra is the god of sun in ancient Egypt, which was extremely Georgian, extremely Kartvelian. You should remember that. Rino means iron. Arkina means iron in Georgian. Tope means kill. Topi means gun or arm in Georgian. And topo means shooting dead. Top would be the same, the common root for both languages. Until now, all that, I imagine you smiling during this all that story, insisting that all that may be funny, but still coincidence. But now we come to a point where your smile goes away forever, because it's an indubitable thing, indubitable element of the story. A beautiful word, renga renga, in Maori dictionary, which means to be destroyed. It's renga renga, it's doubled to emphasize the emotion. Of course, the word, a Spanish word, rengo, comes into mind immediately, meaning crippled. Rengo Diaz, soccer player of incredible quality. He's Argentinian. You don't know about him because you don't follow true football, true soccer. People in Argentina themselves are not aware very much about him, but I do recommend him to all of you who like soccer, especially since his nickname is a key to such an incredible thing like connecting Kartvelian family to Maori language once and forever. So in Spanish, rengo means crippled, lame, and we already know we are absolutely positive about the fact that all the Spanish roots sooner or later will be found in Kartvelian dictionaries. So we have no doubts, at least I had no doubt, not a single second of doubt, that I will find this reng root in the Kartvelian dictionaries. So rengo being crippled, that's something quite similar to the concept of destroyed. Destroyed is what renga renga means in Maori language. And exactly, immediately, the dictionary of Otari Kajaya, dictionary of the Migrelian language, gives us the Masdar rengwa, which has exactly the same root reng in the meaning of rangwa. We go for rangwa, we find the Georgian translation of it, dangreva. And dangreva eventually means demolishing, destroying. So rengwa is an old ancient Migrelian word that used to mean destroying, and it has its total identical twin in Maori language, meaning exactly the same thing, destroying. And this is not coincidence, that's a system. And now all the previous elements stop seeming coincidence as well, being coincidence as well. They start being elements that support the whole system, the whole concept. That's not the end of the story. Papua New Guinea. Papua. The word Papua looks very Kartvelian, looking like a Kartvelian Masdar Papua. And we do find it in the Migrelian dictionary. Papua means the same as papapi. Papapi meaning the same as rheva. In Georgian, while in Georgian that rheva, that would be swaying, waving, and meaning the same as mikanaops, that which means walking along, swaying, walking, swaying. And this is the quote from a book of the Nikolai Miklucho Maklai. That's a Russian traveler who spent quite a part of his life in Papua New Guinea. He's considered to be the main source for information about history of that place. And that's a description of a gait of local women. He says that local men find it beautiful when their wives walk while swaying their buttocks, so that with each step one of the buttock turn aside. And little girls are taught that art in villages, are taught by their relatives the art of swaying their buttocks while walking. That is one of the very typical local features, local gait, local swaying gait, that might, quite logical to call all the land, all the territory, all the country with the word describing that local feature, and it was done so, and the word initially is also Megrelian, which has meaning only in Megrelian language, not anywhere else. Do you know that Maori people came to New Zealand from Hawaii? Do you know the word Hawaii doesn't mean anything in Hawaiian language? The etymology of it is totally unclear. But do you know that in Georgian language there is a word Hawari, which means infidel or pagan? And do you know that if you pronounce it the Megrelian way, the word Hawari will turn inevitably into Hawaii? We remember that the Maori people claim to descend from Hawaii, claim to have come from Hawaii. We see that the word Hawaii itself has all the reasons to be interpreted from Kartvelian point of view, but that's not all. Quite a number of other Hawaiian toponyms suddenly reveal the possible Kartvelian essence as well, nature as well. Kahului, that's the biggest town on the island of Maui. And again, if we assume that Kahului is a former Megrelian Georgian adjective kahuluri, which it is very likely to be, in this case we understand that kahuluri derives from kahuli, another adjective, which in its term comes from the noun kahi. The noun is pretty popular in Georgia itself because we have a region called Kaheti, land of Kahi, and the adjective which describes anything that relates to that region would be exactly kahuli. Kahuli and kahuluri, that would be an adjective made out of another adjective. So, kahi means a type of wheat, but in Megrelian language it has a better explication. It's a kind of pig, and not only gori, gori in Georgian language, and not only just a pig, but chreli gori, that would be a piebald, colorful pig. Now we can find out from a book, Kinship and Sacrifice, Ritual and Society in Ancient Hawaii, written by Valerio Valeri, that warriors, Hawaiian warriors, are compared to spotted pigs that bear their teeth. So we see that spotted pigs is quite an issue in the rituals and just history of Hawaii. And the traditional kalwa cooking in Hawaii is exactly stewing a pig. Here you can find a recipe of that kalwa pig. Kalwa itself looks extremely Megrelian, and it's not a coincidence because in the dictionary of Ariane Chanturia we find a kalia word which means exactly pork stew. Kalia and kalwa, that's totally the same word, since the E ending in Georgian language for the nominative case corresponds to the U ending in Laz language for the nominative case. So that's totally the same thing, kalwa and kalia. And one more, that's not all, that's not the end of the story, because another town on the same island is called Kihei. That's a Hawaiian city or town or village, not sure. And we also may assume that Kihei is a former Kiheli, or Kiheri, doesn't matter what consonant is there, since we don't have neither L nor R in the root. And we don't find Kiheli, or Kiheri, or Kihi itself. We don't find those words in the Kartvelian dictionaries, but we do find Kihori, which is virtually the same adjective derived from the same root, Kihi. And Kihori in Georgian language means exactly piebald. We keep up staying on the same island of Maui, where we find a town called Kapalua, which is exactly and impeccably Migrelian Masdar Kapalua, derived. You find here on the screen both the Masdar Kapalua and the adjective Kapali, from which Kapalua was derived, and they both mean to speak in such a manner that no one understands you. A perfect attestation for a local autochthonous nation or tribe found by newcomers on the island of Maui. Kauai, another island, another Hawaiian island, may be a former Kawali or Kawari. We find both of those words in the dictionary of Chanturia. Kawali, that would be a falling piece of gun, or just gun, while Kawari or Kauri would be wooden roof shingle. Quite a natural explication of the name of the toponym. But what makes it even more interesting is that in 19th century the same island used to be known under another name. The name was Atwalai. Again, if it's Atwalari, and Migrelian adjective, it should be the derivation from the Masdar Atwalwa. And we do find this Masdar in the Chanturia dictionary. It's an outdated word, Atwalwa, that used to mean counting. Actually, Atwalwa comes from the word twali, which is I, and the Masdar Atwalwa may mean not only counting, but actually it may mean anything related to seeing or watching. So it may be watching, observation, sightseeing, viewing, etc. So, but again, both names for the same Hawaiian island have beautiful interpretations from Kartvelian point of view. Molokai, another famous Hawaiian island, is very likely to be the Migrelian adjective Molokari, which is a derivation from Moloka root. Moloka means mallow, hibiscus, and we do know that we can actually see that quote from the book called Hawaii Dye Plants and Dye Recipes by Val Kron Ching, who says that no other place than Hawaii can pride itself on having so many varieties of hibiscus. Molokai, that would be Molokari, island of hibiscus.
Nari shveni si tsotskhale chiti vidgagu prindeva